there. Welcome and welcome back to the Whole Bucket. I'm Cheryl, and this is Inktober 2025. I am not part of the Inktober group or plan or anything, but I liked the project and I had an idea, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. This is the paper I'm going to do Inktober on. I'm going to do one video each day. Hopefully it will be short, except maybe not this one because I am behind. So we're going to do a little bit of catching up. And I will show you what I'm going to do while I fill in the starting part. So I was watching this lady who is doing Inktober with Zentangles, and I thought that looked like a blast. But I wanted to do it for October videos, and in order to follow her, I would have to watch her videos and then record. And that would be really, really hard for me to do. So instead of following her Zentangles each day, I am going to use my own. I'm using a calendar from her. She gave calendars away for free. Her calendar was super cool. She created one for her specific project. So if you want to follow along with her, you can do the exact thing she's doing on this really cool calendar she made. She also made a much more generic calendar, and that's the one I'm using, so that you can fill it in with your own stuff. And I guess the really generic one is from another person who's doing Inktober and for the project they're doing. So what it amounts to for me is I ended up with a free little Inktober calendar that is nothing fancy, but exactly what I need. Okay, here's my cool calendar. Inktober. You notice it's just a bunch of blank squares. There's a reason for that, and I'll get to it in a minute. But here is my word for the month of October. I usually save this word for November, but I am in need of a little extra gratitude, extra thankfulness, extra positivity, and invoking the powers of the universe to offer me strength and kindness. So I'm choosing benediction for all kinds of reasons. And down on the bottom, we're going to say, oh, this is very bumpy. Inktober. I wrote this stuff out. I made little frames in pencil and wrote the words out in pencil to make sure I was happy with the size. And I'm trying to fill it in. I didn't mean to put a space between ink and tober, but I did. So I'm going to put an extra swoopy bit in there to kind of fill it in. Inktober. Oh. I don't know if I will ever do this again, and I have never done it in the past, but now it's got a date on it. Somewhere on here I will have to sign this because you're supposed to sign your work. And I never do. Okay, there we go. Inktober. So you can barely see. Let's see if I pull it up. Will you be able to see it? There it is. It's got a frame around it, and Benediction also has some framing around it, and I'll use that framing in the project. I'm not really sure how. I will frame the words and stuff, but I will at some point. Now, what are we going to do with this piece? So, I do have 31 doodles that I'm going to use for this project, except that there's one, I really just don't like it. I don't know why I picked it in the first place, and now that I have it, I don't like it. It's dumb. Let me see if I can. I'm sorry for fixing the camera while I'm on camera. That's not very nice. Anyhow, I'm going to pull this down. Oh, wow, that was bad. That was really bad. Okay. Okay, I need to get a better, I need like a hydraulic arm. That's what I need. Or a button thing so I can use a keypad to zoom. Yeah. Okay, so anyhow, enough of that, right? I have a Zentangle, or not, these aren't actually Zentangles. I have a Doodle. Some are Zentangles, some are Doodles. I learned from other people. Some are my own. And there's one I don't like, so I'm gonna just cancel it. I'm gonna count the titles and this intro video as number one, so that I can get rid of the one I don't like. There's actually another one I don't like. I might get rid of two. For today, and for introducing what we're gonna do, I'm gonna just put ABC in box number 1, because what? Because that's what I'm counting for today's. They're writing the words on the thing. For day number 2, which I'm going to do now because this will get posted on day number 2 because I'm recording it on October 2nd. I'm going to do one of the bigger doodles I have, because the big bulky ones are going to go on this thing first, and this is a big bulky doodle. So it starts with some seeds, and this is my practice sheet, so I remember what the heck I'm doing, right? And it starts with seeds, and I'm going to do 6. I have done this doodle with many different amounts of seeds. So I've done it with 4, 6, 8, and 8 must be 16. And it gets a little ridiculous, as you'll see in just a minute here. So once you have your seeds in a somewhat circle, so this is actually a really bad one right here. I'm going to move this guy to right here. And then because I moved that guy, things are looking a little better, but this one is at a bad angle. There we go. So I want seeds in a somewhat circle. And then it gets a little complicated. So I'm going to start on the left-hand side of a seed, and I'm going to follow the left-hand side and make a hook. A hook. Then I'm going to go right down in between these 2 seeds, the seed I just did and the next one to the left, and I'm going to aura that little viney bit I just made. I'm going to do that all the way around this flower, so I'm going to go pretty fast because I don't want this video getting too terrible long. And since it's a double video and an introduction, it definitely threatens to be too much. So basically, this is the whole deal. I do this and then go around and do it in the other direction. and a little bit longer. And you do a little bit of tucking this one under, and I'll show you how you do that right now actually. So the next part you do there, I've done all 6 of them. The next part you do, and okay, so right now I'm doing it little tiny and on with a pencil. We're going to do it on the big sheet in just a minute, so you'll be able to see better how to make this one. But I'm going to follow the other side of the seed, and that's unnecessary. That's just to get my pencil flowing in the direction I want it. And I'm going to skip over that small one and go above it. And then I'm going to go down to the center between the 2 seeds, the first one and the one on its right, and aura the line I just made to make a bigger swirly thing. And now they're kind of vined together. I don't think you can see that very well in pencil. You can see it a little bit. There we go. So I've kind of got my head around what I want to do here, so I think I won't finish the practice one. I think we'll just move right on to the real thing, so you can get even a better look at what the heck we're doing. Da, 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 da. I think this doodle has a name. Kadoon. It's called Kadoon. And I don't know who created this one, but I love it very much. Okay, so I want to do a little bit of accuracy on here. So I'm just going to find myself a little circle. And create a center of my seeds. And I didn't make it like I kind of oopsed right there, and it's fine. It doesn't matter. This is just a little bit of a guide, so I can put my seeds somewhat somewhat circles, in a somewhat circle. So now I want 2 over here. Whoops, I got fuzzies. I want 2 right here. So I'm going to make sure that I'm trying to get approximate thirds. And I often forget my own rule. Turn the paper, not your hand. Which means I get stuff like this. I don't want this. This is all like wonky and lopsided. So I'm going to erase this seed. If I have my starting spot directly up, right, then I can start in the center between these 2 seeds and make my new seed, and it's more likely to be pointing in the correct direction. Turn your paper. So now I want one directly across from this, and I have that spot up, and there's my seed. Good job. Same thing here. It's better if you just have your paper facing the right way. And then I'm going to fix this one because it's super wonky. There we go. Super wonky. There we go. So there I have my 6 seeds in place. These are not perfect. They are not all the same size. It doesn't matter at all. So now I'm going to put some pencil lines in, and then I will come back and we will darken it with permanent pen, and then you'll really get to see how this one works. So hang on just one second. Okay, it's all drawn in with pencil. This is probably the biggest element on this paper, which is why I started with it, because anytime I'm doing collage, and really this is just a doodle collage, anytime I'm doing collage, I want to start with the biggest things. This one in particular just looks better, to me anyway, in larger formats. It does look kind of cool when it's really little. I have done some that are really little, but it's just, I don't know. To me, it's just better this way. Okay. So there is one segment done, and that's what they will all end up looking like to one degree or another. You know, they're the two squiggles, but the squiggles will not be identical. So I start with the seed, the starting point, and then just follow the lines that I made. So the bigger one goes way up and around. I don't know if I'm going to do any coloring or shading in this collage. I haven't really decided, but I am starting on a piece of Darcy Stander's bubble paper. So it's got, it at least has color in the background. I thought it would be fun to just do black ink and let the bubble paper do the talking, but I doubt that I'm going to just leave it there, because I never seem to leave things be. And I keep thinking, if I go and find some blue and teal and some, you know, coral and yellow colors, I can just add accents. Maybe some splatters. In fact, Casey, Darcy, and I were all talking about a way to make splatters, and Casey had a really good idea, and I would really like to try out his idea. So maybe I'll do a little bit of Casey Street Science. On my Darcy paper. Make sure that you go check out their channels, guys. Darcy's Misadventures in Mixed Media and Casey Street. He does live shows. They are awesome. They are awesome inspiration. They both have very different styles than I do, which is part of the reason I love hanging out with them so very much. Because I learn stuff and I see new stuff, and I get to stretch my brain, and that is always a good thing. But yeah, I forgot where I was going with that, because I'm trying to draw at the same time I'm talking. You know, that's complicated. So I have my line drawing there. I don't know how much you can see it. Some places I went way too dark. I had to remind myself this is just for guiding. But some places it's still really light. So if you can't see it, I just want you to know that I am not necessarily directly following my guidelines. So if I put a guideline in and I'm not happy with the curve the way it is, I might change it up a little bit. If I'm not happy with the way they join, I might change it up a little bit. Or if my hands decide they don't want to behave and they kind of do their own thing, then, you know, it might get changed up a little bit that way too. Doodles should never be stressful. I know that's a little silly when I admitted that this isn't exactly freehand, because I made guidelines for myself. That's partly because I'm doing it on a video. for other people to maybe see and learn too, or get ideas. But it's also because if I leave everything to just in the moment, I tend to get frustrated and lost, and then I might not even finish what I'm doing. So guidelines really help me, and I find that's true for a lot of people. So if you want to do some doodles, if you want to polywally doodle all your day, I highly recommend guidelines. And the only thing I can really say about guidelines is remember to keep them as light as you can while still being able to see them. So the one I just did now is completely different than what's actually on the guide. The guide actually goes down here and over this way a little. But I didn't like it, so I didn't do that. I do start pretty wide with these viney things because I want them to get thinner as they come up to this little circular ending bit. So they're fat down here. Oops, I'm way off screen. I'm so sorry. They're fat way down here, and as they curve up, they get thinner. I wonder how long I've been off screen. Oh, good grief. Okay, forgive me, please. Once this ink is all dry, I will carefully erase my guidelines. And I said carefully stressed like that because I wonder, and I'm going to find out, I guess, I wonder if I can truly destroy the watercolor if I try to erase my guidelines. I'm going to find out. Okay, so there is day 1 and day 2 of Inktober 2025. Day 1 is my lettering, so benediction, and my Inktober 2025. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure how I will proceed with coloring or not coloring, but for now it's going to stay this black and bubbles, black and a bubble. And sooner or later, we will get to the framing around the wording parts. But I'm not sure how that's going to work either. So next time I come on here, I will have the pencil erased, and I might have the guidelines in for the next one already, so we can move a little bit faster. I'm hoping these are quick little videos. Please like, comment, subscribe. Join me if you wish. If you're having a tough time, tell me so, and I will slow down or do this in a more educational style. Like if you really want to copy what I'm doing, I would love that. And if I need to slow down and give better direction, feel free to request that, and I will do my best. All right, see you next time. This is Inktober 2025. Bye!